I need this. Hang on a minute. There. Much better. Now, I think I'm in Propeller to start. Oh, I went maybe a little bit overboard. 6. 6, 7, and 5, 3. Will. Whatever. The Little IPA. Because Juicy is an East Coast double IPA. Well, okay. Then we've got Noise. A 6, 7. So I got that one. Well, there we are. It is Wednesday. It is 8 p.m. if you're watching this and you are not watching. I don't know. What would you have watched? What is the alternative? What else is on at 8? Getting home from the open mic at 10 and we'll film. I'm not sure. I'm so bad at starting these when it's just me. Usually I'm chatting with Ian and I'm talking about stuff. Regardless, it is 8 o'clock. It is 8:06. I'm starting late. I am Roz. I am all by myself. And regardless of that, I went into the liquor store today and I'm attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry. Here is the attempt. And so I went in to see if there's anything. Because of the beers that we've got ourselves, I've got the same as what Ian's got. So we're looking through our collection where I was saying, ooh, those would be good to drink together. So I went in for ones that we don't have together. And I saw this. I saw Propeller Brewing Company's Piña Colada, which I had to look up that character in Windows Character Map so that I could spell it correctly. And it says, so Piña Colada India Pale Ale. It's one of their IPAs. Strong beer, 6%. Beer with natural vanilla flavor. Piña Colada. That's fine and fair enough. Can I just say... So there's a lot going on here because on the... It actually looks stitched. So it sort of looks like they've stitched on the label there. So I'm not sure what they're going for with the Piña Colada, but it's all very tropical. So there's coconuts, there's flamingos, there's some other there's just basic pink flower. If I knew anything more about flowers, I could probably describe these pineapple and whatnot, palm leaves. So I'm not quite certain of this gorgeous, very intricate stitching at little squiggle lines of the Propeller Brewing Company logo on it, because usually it's Propeller logo and this black can on the bottom and then just kind of some sort of decorative bit on the top. But this one, it's even a little bit more different. So anyway, side of the can. A smooth tropical sensation. Our Piña Colada IPA is brewed with pineapple, coconut, vanilla, and lactose, dry hopped with Sabro for an extra kick of tropical fruit aromas for some serious toes in the sand and drink in your hand vibes. When I went in to the LC, I thought, oh, if there's stouts and porters, I'll definitely get that. Were there stouts and porters in the liquor store? No. No, there was definitely not. I had a really good one. Actually, no, I didn't. I ordered the IPA. My wife and I went to Chester just this past Friday? Saturday? Thursday. It was a Thursday night. And we stopped in at the Forecastle Tavern in Chester. And on tap was a number of delicious things. I forget what I got. I got some sort of... I think I got the Tanner and Company IPA. It was just, Tanner and Company has an IPA. And then they said, oh, on tap are our Forecastle brews. So here's the Forecastle Dark, the Forecastle IPA, and the Forecastle Stout. Or it was the dark beer. I think it said the stout, the Forecastle Stout. No, it was just some sort of dark thing. So my wife ordered the dark one. Brittany ordered the dark beer, and I'm like, who is you? What is going on here? 'Cause I don't think there were any sours or ciders on. She had sours or ciders later. But she ordered the dark, and out comes this beautiful dark thing. And I said, oh, yeah, I'll give that a sip. And it was this gorgeous, gorgeous dark beer. And I asked, I said, do you guys make that yourself? And the server said, no, we get that made at Tanner and Company. So I went, okay. So you have a couple of Tanner and Company ones on, but then Tanner and Company also, I guess, make this one special for you or something of the like. So I reached out, of course, because, I'm such good friends with so many of the brewers in Nova Scotia. But luckily, I am on pretty decent communicative terms with Dan Tanner down at Tanner and Company, and I feel like I have an even better idea of what he's up to, because down at oh my god, I can't remember the Tapestry Beer Bar down in 833 Sackville Drive in Lower Sackville. Ian's usually got at least one Tanner and Company brew on at a time. No head came out of that when I poured that in. This is just a glass of juice, and these are all brand new out of the LC, so I can't claim that they were sitting in the closet, the beer closet, too long. The nice cool beer closet. Something is going on, and I'm getting a very retro. I'm getting flashbacks of something, and it's not beer, it's juice. This is, oh my god. Yeah, it's hoppy juice. This is going to be a very hoppy, but I'm excited that they've got pineapple all over it, because I always say, well, I don't always say, but I have been known to say I want some beers with some more pineapple. I want to experience more pineapple. And to his credit, Ian Smith down at Tapestry Beer Bar, 833 Sackville Drive, Lower Sackville, is he's made a couple. He's made one or two. He made a pineapple double IPA one time from the Sac Vegas Brew Company. Regardless, I'll drink this and I'll tell some more of my story about Dan Tanner. For 6%, that's very light-bodied. That is crushable. That's very drinkable for a 6.0. Smooth tropical sensation. Brewed with pineapple, coconut, vanilla, and lactose. Doesn't say that it's going to taste like all of those things. Maybe it's the lactose that I'm sort of getting a familiar taste from. Dry hopped with Sabro for an extra kick of tropical fruit aroma. For some serious toes in the sand and drink in your hand vibes. Honestly, yes, that's it, toes in your sand, drink in your hand kind of vibes. Fully agree. Juicy, very, very juicy. We had the tangerine blonde a couple of weeks ago, and I couldn't get even an ounce of tangerine out of it. This is those tart tangerine. Now, I'm not talking about clementines or blood oranges or oranges in general, where I find tangerines have a specific, very tart, almost sour flavor to them, and this, if you told me that this was a tangerine IPA, mwah, absolutely, 100%. This smells like those tangerines, but I hate to say it, these smell like what tangerines smelled like when I was growing up. If it's linked to a memory of when would someone like open tangerines and I'd smell them? Why would we have tangerines? Because this was before clementines were, or maybe my family just didn't buy clementines. But when I was younger, between 5 and 10, I guess, we would often occasionally have tangerines in the house. Don't remember why, and I remember not really enjoying them. I wanted something sweet. You get that super sweet, the clementine. If you had a clementine and a tangerine next to you, I would go for the clementine. This definitely has more of a tangerine flavor to it. But what you're saying, pineapple, coconut, vanilla. It does say specifically on the can, beer with natural vanilla flavor. Do I taste or detect natural vanilla flavor? No. I might be getting... This might be the dry hop with Sabro for the extra kick. It's saying it's going to be tropical fruit aroma. I wish I was getting more pineapple and coconut, honestly, because it's mostly just a tangerine IPA. It's delicious. This is really, really good. I need to get through it. Propeller has so many IPAs, and they keep putting out more. What were some of the ones? Azaka, I think I missed that one. There was a few other ones. I missed the one that was a cold IPA because I made fun of it so much. I was like, this is stupid. You can't just have a cold IPA. And then I tried some cold IPAs, never liked them. I wouldn't say it's light body. I mean, the flavor is there. It's just, I don't know. It's slightly muted. For a flavor. Where it's not very, it's just not a strong flavor. It's decently bodied. So you know what you're drinking. It doesn't taste too strong, so it doesn't have that boozy taste or any kind of richness to it. This is really quite refreshing, quite crisp. That is a lovely summer evening beer. Is it exactly as they say? Piña Colada. Do I even know what a Piña Colada is? I that's the coconut rum one, right? The Piña Colada. Oh, frig! It filled it in. It auto corrected with IPA at the end. A cocktail made with rum, cream of coconut, and pineapple juice. Yeah. Yeah. That's just coconut or coconut rum and pineapple juice. That'd be pretty good. Blend up frozen pineapple, coconut cream, simple syrup. Everyone's always putting simple syrup. White rum and lime juice. For a tasty cocktail, you'll be sipping a nota. Why do I suddenly go into the accents? Stay away from the accents. That's not a good idea. This one might not. These might not compare. They're all just a bunch of interesting IPAs that I was curious about, but they all seem to be just that little bit different. This is just a basic IPA made with some vanilla, and they're trying to go for a Piña Colada flavor. It's good. It's a tangerine orange. It's not a Piña Colada. So, is it good? It's tasty. Yes, recommend. Go get it. If you're expecting it to taste like a Piña Colada, sadly, no. Sadly, it's missing that. It's missing that coconut pineapple sweetness. I think it is yeah. It's the best way to put things. But what would you give it out of 10? Well, grading it against itself, I can't go as high as 9. I like it. This is, honestly, if this was a tangerine IPA, you're a 9.6. But you're not a tangerine IPA. You're supposed to be a Piña Colada IPA. And while you're delicious, you might just be an 8.9, which is sad. For how good this is. It might just be an 8.9. I'm gonna toss this in here really quickly. Piña, and I'm not gonna do the Piña Colada IPA. And yeah, 8.9. Sorry. Sorry. Ian Smith, dad at Tapestry Beer Bar, has occasionally accused me of drinking fast, and I'm like, when you got some beers to get through. So here's the thing: I found 2 that we haven't had before that I'm curious about, and then I went, it's just 2. I mean, I'm not picking up a second one for Ian because I don't know, selfish. But I needed, I should probably fill up the little basket, the little six packer that you buy, just where you're collecting all your cardboard for recycling purposes. So yeah, I added some more, and I thought I'm pretty sure these seem to be ones that we've had before, and I couldn't be bothered looking them up at the time, but I couldn't remember what we thought of the Sea Glass IPA from Burnside, and I couldn't I could kind of remember about the Summer Day IPA, but I thought, nah, not that. And then we got back, and there's more IPAs in there. But the thing about the IPAs that we've been saving, those are the IPAs that we've got that Ian and I both have one. So we got the Nine Locks White IPA is in there. There's a bunch from North. We're gonna have a North Brewing IPA night. Maybe I need to contact them and see if they want to have a chat with us about some of those. But they do some delicious stuff, and we really like North Brewing. But what I was saying is that Ian tells me that I drink too fast. But when you're trying to squeeze in 3 to 4 beers in 1 hour's time slot, you got a 15-minute window to get this down here. I've also started allowing myself to not need to finish everything. You know, and when it goes from can to glass, John is right, from beer review in a minute or two. When you put it in the glass, you get the full flavor of it from top to bottom. If you drink it quick enough. Ha. Tangerine. That is the Tangerine IPA right there. That is an easy-to-drink 6.0. Boom. What's up? What is next? Next, we hop over to Garrison. And Garrison, they have the juicy double IPA, but then they have this one, which is in a nice shiny can, so no one's ever going to be able to read it. Lil Juicy IPA. I'm going to admit that I hate, emphasis, hate the abbreviated little down to lol. I read a lot of Archie comics growing up. My sister loved Archie comics, and I would read it. And you got to the one. It was, you know, it's a collection of stories, and they're not all about Archie. They're not all about Archie and his friends, because every now and then you get one, and it's starring Lil Jinx. Lil Jinx. And then they have the audacity. Here's where the apostrophe is. It's at the end. So Lil apostrophe. Lil. Where shouldn't it be little? So Li or L apostrophe IL? Little? Because then it's at least kind of British with the accent that Ian and I usually go into, where you don't actually pronounce the T's in the middle of a word, where you're like, instead of saying little, you just go, yeah, little. Little, you know, because then it's got 2 syllables still in the word, but you're not saying any of the T's. None of them. And you're just getting all the L's and a little bit of the vowels in there, and you just say it's little. It's just small. It's little. So, but little in a British accent is different from lil. Is a 2-syllable word dropped down to 1, and it's just that. I think it's the same thing that I hate about punkin. Instead of saying pumpkin or February. Is it the laziness that annoys me, or is it the cadence? Is it the musicality? Is it the sound? I think the sound of the word drives me crazy. Anyway, I'll give him a chance because it's beer, and it's also Garrison. So Lil IPA, Lil Juicy IPA, because they're the Juicy Double IPA I think is higher than this, but this is 6.0 for the Lil Juicy IPA, coming in at 6.0%. Says inside of the very, very reflective can. Look at this. This is just shiny metal and a little bit of, it's got Garrison Juicy and orange, sort of yellow and green fonts and things all over it. Hops and what's that? An orange slice and a pineapple. Oh, I've accidentally made this pineapple night. I'm in. I'm down. Down with second to last place. Ding. This scrappy Lil IPA is bursting with hopped flavors and attitude. Okay, but you've got like oranges and pineapples on the side of your can, so what are you actually saying? Curious. Oh, that smorked up there. That smells hoppy. That does not smell fruity. So why do you have fruit? You're telling me fruit on the side of your can. This one has got some head to it. This is what gets you to drink your beer faster, is when there's no head whatsoever. This one's going to take a little longer. So while I put this in the glass, I can finally get back to my Dan Tanner story. So I called up Dan Tanner. I didn't call him up. I reached out to him, and I said, and I know it had basically been, oh man, a couple of years since we'd reached out and had him on the show. but I said, hey man, I was in the Forecastle, and they have the Forecastle Ale or the Forecastle Dark, and the follow-up to us drinking it and finding it really tasty was when it came out on the bill and the receipt that you were paying for. It said Forecastle Dark Cream. I feel like it was a dark cream ale or dark ale. I thought the word cream was in there, but I think I was remembering it incorrectly. And I said, but they said that it was made by Tanner and Company. So was that a special thing, or is that just one of the beers and they just rebrand it for that spot? And I'm not trying to out all the secrecy at the Forecastle Tavern. I will tell you to go to the Forecastle Tavern day and night. I will tell you to go there, get the food, and try the beer, and honestly get all of the Forecastle ales, just because if they're made by Tanner and Company, then they're going to be freaking good. And they were. So go in, get the Forecastle Dark, or the Forecastle Stout, or whatever it's called, because, told to me by one Dan Tanner, of Tanner and Company, that is the Tanner and Company Porter. And it was delicious. So I find it kind of weird that if they called it the Forecastle Stout, but it's actually the Tanner and Company Porter, then that's a little wrong. It's very wrong, in fact. Well, on a scale of 1 to 5, how wrong is that? That's about a 3.5. That's like 66 to 70% wrong. That is the C plus, B minus of wrong. I'm crossing all of my measurements here. This is okay, yeah, I'm still getting that kind of hopped up thing. Why is my nose running so much? Every time apparently drinking beer it really empties out your sinuses there. This beer is very good for you if you have a bad cold or anything of the like. I have not been feeling, I want to say 100%. I feel like I'm at about 90%, but I feel like I'm just tired a lot. And I'm trying to come down to, is it something, am I not eating good? Am I not exercising? And all of that's true. But also, we're not sleeping well because the 2-year-old remains 2. And, well, he's 2.5. And he still does not quite make it through the night. So interrupted sleep is the name of the game. And the game of the name is cricket. I don't actually know what I'm talking about or where that even came from. I have been listening to, I've been picking up a few comedy albums just for like long drive. Well, not long drives, but you know, I drive my, speaking of other things I have to do, is getting up early in the morning and driving my daughter up and down the road because she gets to work in the morning. She's 17. And she's also working on a driver's license, so that hopefully in the future, I'm waiting for the sentence, "Dad, I'm taking the car," to which I will yell loudly back, "Huh?" And then off it goes. So I'm teaching her how to drive the Manuel transmission. Okay, we have to workshop this right now. So, if your name is Manuel Transmission, what is your backup band name? Manuel Transmission and the fifth gears and the lower 4 gears and the upper 4. Oh, it's in there. It's in there. We got to workshop this one. Workshopping band name, backing up a dude named Manuel Transmission. Manuel Transmission and the lower gears. Manuel Transmission and the hill start. The faulty hill start. And the stall outs. Manuel Transmission and the tricky The Tricky Hill Starts. I think I like that one. I think I like the Tricky Hill Starts. I will keep you updated on this conversation. This is what me and my friends talk about most of the time, by the way. I'm still waiting for this head to mostly subside. I'd love to get the entirety of this can in this glass here. It's coming out very hazy, which, through pure accident, I am in for. But as a 6.0, slightly weaker version, not weaker, but just lower APV. Hang on, let's do a quick Juicy IPA Garrison. The Juicy Double, there we go, is an 8. Okay, yeah, so a 6.0 is down from 8. That's true. Let's get a little bit of this in me so I can finish it off with the top of the beer. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Again, medium to light body for a 6.0. This one sticks to the back of your teeth a little bit more than that other one, just because it's coming through as wicked hazy. Oh, this is amazing. This is outstanding. Big fan of this. And what do we have? Bursting with hop flavors and attitude. How do you measure attitude? I don't know. Let's put the Lil... Oh, good. No, that's the Jidge. Lil Juicy. Scrappy is bursting with blah. Okay, is there anything else? Rockhead, extra tropical citrus, peach, and pineapple aromas? IPA is chock full of flavors, including mango, malt sweetness, freshly squeezed orange juice. I mean, pours hazy and pale gold in color. Yup. It dissipates really quickly. The bitter taste on your tongue, it kind of slides in there, and then it disappears on the back. So even a West Coast pine lover might enjoy this one, but definitely, I think I did see something saying that this was a New England IPA. No, East Coast hopped. Yeah, I mean, it's really trying to be more of an East Coast stylings, the comedy stylings of the East Coast, and really good. This is hitting. This is hitting similar to the Propeller. It got a little bit more mouthfeel, but more importantly, it is doing what it says on the can. It is giving what's advertised. Yes. I would take the, because I'm just seeing some of the other stuff that they've got. They've got the hoppy bay, if I'm slurring that correctly. And I've never really been a big fan of the hoppy boy, but I need to go back to some of the old IPAs that we didn't really enjoy because they burnt. They had that dank on the end. They had that West Coast piney kind of, that resinous sticking around, way too bitter on the top end of it. But once you get this delightful citrusy, chock full of malt sweetness. Is that what I'm getting? I mean, probably. It's where you're getting a lot of this lovely haze, and it's not all kind of a bright golden. It's a very hazy orange, which is really good. I think I finished my story about the dark. Yeah, go to the Forecastle, get the Forecastle dark, and it is the porter. I did finish that story. Okay, good. Got to that one. I was telling a different story, and the Little Jinx thing, I think I finished the Little Jinx thing. I just hate that particular abbreviation. And it's an obvious 2 syllables down to 1, and that's why I hate it. Because one of the other things that I hate more than anything is the pronunciation of Graham, as in a graham cracker. Americans call it a graham cracker. There's no 2 syllables, even though there's an H in the middle. Graham. So there's an aha literally in the middle of the word, and it comes out Graham. I'm like, more locally and colloquially, it's so bad I find it funny, is the pronunciation, and we mock this all the time, of garage. If you're British, it's a garage, but it's a garage, and that's two words. But if you're around in more of a rural setting, like, for example, me and most of my friends are, then you have heard it referred to as a grage. Gradge. Grage. The grage. Manuel transmission and the tricky grage door. No, that's not right. I'm going to stick with, I think, the tricky hill start. I really like the hill starts. Or just manual transmission and the hill starts. I'm waiting for my friends to chime in here. There's no votes thus far. So if any of them are, well, our one listener is listening back to this once I, oh my God, start to get back into the habit of recording these. I mean, they're recorded, they're all there, but I just need to upload the actual bits, and like do a little bit of editing, but outside of that, he'll be listening to this and saying, oh, I remember that conversation happening. Of course, he's probably not paying attention because he's out playing hockey because it's late August. There's a suggestion of Manuel transmission and the synchros. No, I immediately reject that. So luckily, he doesn't listen to this. Oh, I'm not getting some of these descriptions on these other sites, and I'm not taking these as gospel. So over at Rockhead Beer, Wine, Spirits, they're telling me expecting citrus and peach and pineapple aromas. No, I'm not getting any of that. Citrus, yes. And then chock full of flavors, mango and malt sweetness. So if this was what was on the can, if this was what was coming from, from Garrison. Oh no, I found GarrisonBrewing.com, and their website is slow. Both associations with the transmission and music. Does it? I don't think I'm smart enough to. Yes, but what if I'm not that smart and or engine savvy? I spelled savvy right. I gotta feel good about that. All about the brews. Okay? So in season, little juicy IPA. Here we go. Pours hazy and pale golden color. Yeah. Expect tropical. Dip. There is more, and it's from GarrisonBrewing.com. So Rockhead. Manuel and the transmission. No, I can't. We can't say that one. It's funny, but no, we definitely can't go with that one. This IPA is chocked full of flavors. It's refreshing to say the least. Okay, well, I'm sorry then, Garrison. Your own description of this is gonna shoot you in the foot. Peach, pineapple aromas. No. Honestly, the malt sweetness is on the nose. I'm now getting so much more of the malt sweetness down towards the bottom. I'm getting all of the freshly squeezed orange juice. I'm not catching the mango, the pineapple. It's on the can. This pineapple's on the can, and it's just not. I feel it's not happening. It's just not quite happening for me. Difficult, again, to compare this with the Propeller, because they were trying to go for a Piña Colada. It was a very specific flavor. It was like a novelty flavor. Whereas the juicy, the little juicy, they went straight out for here's our double IPA, bam. And then I guess for seasonal, they came back and they said, we kind of pulled back a little bit. This is the Lowell Juicy. I barely get the reference. Because the Synchros. Manuel transmission and the Synchros. Maybe. And the synchronous shifts. I don't know why I don't like the Synchros, but I don't. But I just don't. And so I'm trying to have like 3 conversations at once, which mostly sounds like how I go through a day. Canadian 2-row and oat malt, Citra, Mosaic, Simcoe, and Comet hops. Yes, please. So much of that good stuff. Mosaic, yes. I think I'm tasting the Mosaic in there somewhere. Now, what is the... Oh, my, the malt sweetness. Too much, is that just Canadian 2-row? Canadian 2-row? Is that what they make down at Horton Ridge? I'll have to ask Stephen about that. So many questions. So many questions. There aren't enough minutes in the day. There definitely aren't enough hours in the day, but just I feel like I could get things done in minutes, but I run out of minutes and there aren't enough hours in the day. So it's better to say there aren't enough hours in the day, because if you add one, that gives me 60 whole minutes and I can do so much in 60. 60 minutes. Sounds outstanding. How many more of these can I drink? How many more of these should I drink? I gave a really good... I really enjoyed... we're coming down to the end of the Garrison. I really enjoyed the Summer Day IPA. Really liked it. Gave it very high marks for a session IPA. So I feel like, if anything, I should revisit the Sea Glass. There it is. Northeast IPA. So this is my any IPA. Is New England IPA the same as a Northeast IPA? I feel like yes. An East Coast IPA. Let's get through this last... do we get through the last little bit? Manuel transmission and the clutch. Winner. Clutch boys. If and all... If a similarly... If a one-sided gender is not announced, identified. No. Identifying gender. Wait a... Yeah, this is just listening to me type out how my thought process works, which is basically how live streams do work, should work. I'm not entirely certain. This is how I've always done them, so I guess this is just where it comes down to. And it gets even worse here because I'm several beers deep. But rating the Garrison, this is going to be difficult. I was fully expecting to go big if it just said bursting with hop flavors and attitude, but... Expecting the tropical citrus, peach, and pineapple aromas? No. Chock full of flavors including mango? No. The malt sweetness? Yes. It's refreshing. Is it refreshing? Yes. It's a 6.0. It's a set. Like, these are both really sessionable. Tasty, beautiful, wonderful. Absolutely down to get into these. And it hurts me to write in the Lil Juicy IPA. Garrison. This one was Propeller. The Little Juicy IPA from Garrison, is it... I think it's more accurate than the Propeller, so I think I have to go 9.1. 9.1 for that one. And I mean, yeah, we're still 22, so I don't need 4 IPAs tonight. God knows, and my wife knows. But I did buy it, so I might as well crack open the sea glass. Oh God, isn't the sea glass that? Yes, sea glass, all the way out here at Burnside Brewing. Pow! Which this may or may not be Burnside Brewing. I cannot confirm. But we have done the sea glass before, and I'll do a quick search for sea glass. And I did not record what we thought of it because we had it last year in March. So about a year and a half ago, we had this. And it's still in the LC. Burnside Brewing. Down in Dartmouth. If you don't know, get in there. In specifically, well, Burnside Industrial Park. They used to be Spindrift. They were Spindrift, and now they're Burnside. So that's why I have Spindrift's Toller pint glass, because I don't have a Burnside one, because reasons. Hazy, with a soft, pillowy mouthfeel. Sea Glass is a massively dry-hopped Northeast IPA, bursting with juicy tropical hop character with minimal bitterness. This one is an absolute treasure. So many delightful things to say. I hope we went over how much I love this can. It's just a representation of the East Coast. Halifax. I think that's the clock tower. I think it's one of the light. Actually, is that the lighthouse over at Sullivan's Pond in Dartmouth? Where is this? Is this? That's the clock tower in Citadel Hill, and then I think that's like the 9 locks of the river, because they go past the little lighthouse in not Shuey Park. Sea Glass, Burnside, beer, can, art. Tell me anything. Come on. Tell me stuff. Custom drops are the... Nope. Ooh. The can design. Here we go. Here we go. Justin at Marmalade Advertising. Check out at Marmalade Advertising on Instagram. Knocked this one out of the park. We are so excited to have a can that looks this good sitting on our shelves. Swipe to the end to see how he brought all of the design elements together. New cans will start blah 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 blah. Swipe to the end. Well, I'm hitting the thing. There. Sea Glass, Northeast IPA, blah 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 blah. Keep an eye out for our new look and enjoy the same great taste. What is this from? This is from 116 weeks ago, which is about 252s and a bit more, so like 2 years ago. And there it is. I'm looking at it flat, so I'm fairly certain that that's the clock on Citadel Hill. Oh my God, it's an animation of him drawing everything. Oh, that's really cool. How he brought all the design elements together. This is outstanding. Oh, I'm digging this. I'm digging a whole hell of a lot of this. So I think I'm seeing bits and pieces of like a downtown bit of, well, not specifically Halifax, but kind of Dartmouth. It is some outstanding can design. And well done. So well done, Justin, over at Marmalade Advertising. It's such a good... There we go. Artwork by Justin Ian Lee at Marmalade Advertising. If I actually bothered to read the stupid can, we could get through this without so much as a how's your father. But just the clutch, like the Clash. Agreed. Manuel transmission and the clutch. Oh, Tom's right. Yeah, Tom was 100% right there. So there we go. We can finally enter this band name into the crazy into the crazy database that we keep. Manual transmission and the clutch. There, we got it. And we can pop the tab on the Sea Glass Northeast IPA, not specifically the New England IPA. Oh, this is causing some. There's some head going on here. Come on, man! I only have 10 more minutes. I only have 10 minutes left to the whole podcast situation, and it's just me. It is me talking for 1 hour, and I've said this before. Doing this for 1 hour is not difficult. I have hit the button and gone live for 36 hours before. I've done it several times. And it helps that you surf the internet and you talk about things and you look stuff up and you bounce band names off of your friends and just anything that you can do, you do. That's if you're looking for hints on how to get through a 24/36 hour marathon. Raising money for the IWK. Search no further. But I know enough people that do it anyway. Very hoppy out of the can. How's the glass? The head is... I don't want to say big bubbles, but it's big bubbles. Ooh. I'm sorry, that smells like... And don't ask me how I know this. The inside of a tennis ball. You know, I'm not going to talk up my tennis prowess by saying I'm the best tennis player in the world. But you play tennis every now and then. And it's not that you play tennis so good or so hard that you just burst tennis balls open. No. You get bored and you decide to start cutting them open because what else are you going to do with most of your time? I once was a part of a nighttime tennis game where we decided what if and who the hell someone had glow-in-the-dark paint. So we tried to paint tennis balls with glow-in-the-dark paint. Oh, I'm not at... I am at Burnside. Oh, my God. Well done, Ross in the past. You have allowed me to... Yeah, you remembered to do the thing because you remembered that Ross in the future is too drunk to try to come up with these things. We tried to paint a tennis ball with glow-in-the-dark paint, and we went down to a tennis court at something like 11 o'clock at night in the summertime, and we threw the ball up, and we hit it with a tennis racket, and the ball immediately lost all of its glow-in-the-dark paint, because we didn't let it dry, because why would you do that? And we essentially splattered a glow-in-the-dark splat on a paint splatter on the very first bounce/serve of this attempt on a tennis court somewhere in a ladder subdivision between Brookside and Terrence Bay. God, where did my friend Nick live? How long ago was high school? Let's find out. Let's find out if I can find my friend Nick's house. So Google Maps goes directly to where I'm from, and that didn't help. Wait, Goodwood? No. We got, Halifax Exhibition Center, Goodwood, Hatchet Lake, nope. So there's Terrence Bay, there's Brookside. He was down Prospect, wasn't he? Oh, snap. Was Prospect further than Brookside? Okay, my girlfriend in high school lived in Terrence Bay. Well, there's Prospect. Oh, no, that's Prospect Road, which is the 333. Sorry. The loop that goes around towards Peggy's Cove. I went to high school with everyone around that loop. I went to junior high with people around the Peggy's Cove side, but then once you got around the corner to Dover, they went to a different junior high school, and we only met up in high school. Later, I have found a subdivision in Prospect. The Ladders subdivision is right there. Oh my God, I found it. Seaview Community Park in Pinedale Park, just down Prospect Road, Prospect Bay Road. Sorry. And I'm looking at photos, and yes, this is the one. I'm not looking at pictures of children climbing on. This is okay. This is very South Shore, Nova Scotia. Almost getting around to St. Margaret's Bay, where the first 4 pictures, when you say, can you show me pictures of this park? It says, sure. Here is some of the park. Here is a little bit more of the park. And then by the time you get to the 5th picture, it says, now behold the forest that is around the park. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen evergreen trees before, my man. Magoogle. Magoogle and the Magoogulars. Sorry, I need to stop trying to think of band names right now. I haven't even had any of this Sea Glass IPA just yet, but it gives me pause. It gives me a little bit of pause. I have 5 to 10 minutes more, depending on if we started this at 5 after, which I think we did. So here we go. Sea Glass IPA from Burnside Brewing. It is finally down, and it's I'm out of head. I'm still watching Justin Lee's animation in here on the Instagram post from 2 years ago. That is not what I expected. It's mild. It's very mild. Yo, dog, what's up with your mild? We heard you like mild, so we put some mild in your mild so you can mid while you mid. What's going on? This is a 6.7. The Burnside Brewing, yep, 6.7 in the smallest freaking letters. It's way down there on the smallest part of the Nine Locks. Well, they're not the Nine Locks Brewing Company. I'm an idiot. But so Burnside Brewing there's the Lighthouse. I don't know, man. Lighthouse is bunch of clocks on a hill, spurts out into the water. Is there a light? No, there's no lighthouse close to Burnside Industrial Park, right? To the maps! Where's my map? Oh, frick. Did I close the map that I had? I did successfully find my friend's house. I have to extol that I did find my friend's house, or at least the latter subdivision and the small tennis court / playground that we did go to that fateful evening after an enjoyable time. So there's Burnside. I don't think there's a lighthouse in this area around Burnside. What's that? That's a star. Gerald Gray Memorial Arena. Don't think that's a lighthouse, bro. Sorry. Gerald Gray Memorial Arena. Where the heck is that? That's in Albro Lake. Okay, so feel free to get mugged. And I know someone who got mugged. Literally walking through that area. Lighthouse. George's Island. No. Peggy's Cove. No. Lighthouse Arts Center. No. Devil's Island. No. The Lighthouse. I don't think... Because this is a lighthouse that sits, the drawing of it on the Sea Glass IPA can it's on a tiny little island. Lighthouse, and I've just now remembered the name of the area. No. The tiny island in Dartmouth is Sullivan's Pond, and that's very close to temporary closures. That's cool. Does Sullivan's Pond not have a little lighthouse? It does not. So what is the lighthouse on this can on a little island surrounded by water, with water that's slurshing out past Halifax's clock tower? Justin, Justin Lee, I have some questions, man. I have some freaking questions. Oh dear. And Marmalade Advertising says, sorry, this page isn't available. Oh, this is this is going from bad to worse. So what if I look for Justin Ian Lee? Justin Ian Lee. Just Lee in? No. Justin Lee. Justin Lee is an auto shot. Justin Lee's music. We could listen to some people's music. But no. Okay, we're on Instagram, so when you look for Justin Ian Lee, you're just looking at Justin Bieber and a bunch of his tattoos and his abs. This is not what I was looking for. Where are we at now? We're at 8:59, and I have a Burnside sea glass to get through. And what did I say? I think it's still light to medium bodied, which is cool for a 6.7. Not a lot of amazing personality. Hazy. Yes. With a soft, pillowy mouthfeel. I mean, pillowy. Is that a nice way of saying not... It is soft. Light to medium bodied. Massively dry hop Northeast IPA. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot kicking in the back. This isn't any IPA that hits you later on. Bursting with juicy tropical hop character. Minimal bitterness. Yeah. Absolute treasure. There's not so much a mouthfeel, but it's all on the back end. And I feel like we've talked about this before, so I need to look up this episode. I need to look up when we tried this and what we compared it to. What did we have? We had the Sea Glass we're calling this a hazy IPA that night, and we were putting it up against the next phase hazy IPA from Tusket Falls. Damn. Okay, well, I got to go back and figure out what the hell I'm thinking there, because I'm back into it. I am 100% back into it, and I'm liking it. I need to get through some more of this. I can't just do the top half. I need to stop finding my friends' houses in high school and actually get into this. The Grinders? Manuel transmission and the Grinders. Maybe. I still think the clutch is... Yeah. Maybe the grinding clutch. But I still think Tom won. I need more personality. This is very easy to drink. This is very lovely, very delightful, very medium to light bodied again, and a 6.7. So all of these, the 6s, the 6, and the 6.7 have been deceptively easy to get through and get consumed. Would you have another? I would order another of each of them. I would ask, are you sure this was the Piña Colada for the Propeller? But the other two, yeah, give me more of that. This is fantastic. I'm cool with this. And again, coming back to the fact that everything, all of them, Nova Scotia craft beers, they're all really good. We haven't had one that wasn't great in a while. It has been a wee while, every now and then, the flavor, and Ian and I had this conversation about the Cerberus. The big spruce Cerberus was finally available because they had it on tap out in Cape Breton for a while. I don't think I forgot it. I think I got it because Ian brought it in on tap down at Tapestry Beer Bar, 833 Sackville Drive. But I couldn't get it in the can, and so finally in cans in the NSLC, and we picked one up, and it was the maltiest thing ever. It was so malt. It was like, yeah, this is a malty IPA. This is fantastic. It was on par with the Malternate Reality from North Brewing, which I also love, and hopefully isn't getting replaced with a Dishoom. I don't think it is. If anything, it might just be phased out because no one cares about malt anymore. Not enough people care about malt anymore. We'll march on Washington and we'll say, we want malt. That's not a thing we're doing. But, yeah, I got a couple more minutes before we're at an hour, and I've nearly made it through the Sea Glass one again. I'm having such a tough time with this. Cerberus is so good, but the Cerberus in the keg and on tap was different than the Cerberus in the can. That was the 2025 can. You know, the one that they put out to the NSLC. I don't know why. I'm still trying to work out why when I drink half of one IPA, all of a sudden my nose starts running. Whatever. This is really good. Well done. Burnside, this is a good IPA. Now, did you say, yeah, it was a Northeast. I don't think massively dry hopped, pillowy mouthfeel, bursting with juicy, tropical character, minimum bitterness. Yeah. That's what's happening. Juicy, hazy. There's a little bit of a bitterness on there that so it's not amazing. So I have to dial it, but I have to curb my enthusiasm ever so slightly for that. And do I go lower than the Propeller? No. I feel like it's high marks with a caveat. And I now need to look up the word caveat. A warning or caution often implying a condition or limitation on something. Formal notice filed to suspend a legal proceeding until a hearing is heard. Yes, you heard me right. Burnside Brewing, until we get to an actual trial where I am judging you against what you have stated on your can as it pillowy mouthfeel, but there's a little bit of the IPA mouthfeel at the back of the teeth. A little bit more bitterness than I was expecting. So honestly, taking the fact that this is kind of an NE IPA with a little tiny bit of an ESB in there. Can we just throw letters all over the place like an NE IPA ESB? An NEESB. New England ESB. Correct. Good friend has just stated that he is oh, God. What? He's had quite a situation. He's out in Canada's Wonderland. I'm not sure. He's out in Toronto doing things. And, I don't even want to repeat any of this. All right, I'm going to stop reading any of that. The bitter is coming through. You keep telling me minimal bitterness. But that's not to say no bitterness. So I think I think I'm legit in my 9.2. I'm cool with that. A 9.2 for the Burnside Sea Glass. I'm curious as to what I gave it previously, and I'm not going to bring that up right now. God, because then I'd have to search through potentially another 58 minutes of video just to find out what I thought about it. I like it, and I've evolved. I've evolved to start, and this is why we're revisiting, and I'm occasionally revisiting as many as I can. These IPAs that I never liked, but we're getting there, and I like these Northeast IPAs, these NE IPAs. And well done, Burnside, for not making it a New England IPA, because screw New England. The Patriots have won too many Super Bowls already. It's the Northeast. The Northeast is the East Coast. The East Coast Canadian IPA. For some reason, as soon as I decide that I'm Canadian, I'm going to talk in a very foppish British accent. So there it is. And there is malt, but mostly hops and a little bit of bitterness. And I've decided on a 9.2 for the Sea Glass, so they did get better. I think my favorite on the night was the Little Juicy, though. And sadly, I'm all out of that. I finished that. So as I finish, snurf, at my very, sinus-ridden, salty Sea Glass from Burnside Brewing. Ew, gross. I can't thank Ian for being here. He's at work. He's busy. He's doing other stuff. I'm going to tell him about at least, several of these. The Little Juicy for sure. But I'll thank Propeller for trying to make, honestly, the artwork. The artwork of the Piña Colada can is worth the thanks. Thank Garrison for the Little Juicy. Thank you, Burnside, for the Sea Glass. And thank you for listening. If you made it through this entire thing, God, I have no idea how you did that. But let's see. Every week, Wednesday night, 8 to 9 p.m.-ish, we're here live on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@drinknsdry. You can find us in all the podcasty places. We also occasionally, when I get back to it, start putting some shorts up. So YouTube shorts, Instagram at drinknsdry. I don't even know what we are over there. And TikTok with the talk ticks and the whatnots and the goobins and the goblins. What is? Oh Lord. Yeah, we're okay. Instagram, drinknsdry. TikTok, I couldn't tell you. I think we're drinking NSDry over there. And if you want to go straight to the source, you can go to drinkns.unsupervised.beer. That's where our one listener hosts everything. Holy cow. All kinds of whatnot. I failed the Turing test while trying to look at things. How are we doing? 600 views. What's our 1,200 views? That was the weirdest one that we had. But thank you, and we'll be back with Ian next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week.